Okay, welcome dear students and friends. Today, as on your screen you can see that there are two programs that we are going to discuss in this session. The first program, as I had told in the previous class, that you have to check if a string is odd or even length palindrome or not, and another program to print nth term of Fibonacci series. And needless to mention that all these programs must be recursive. Okay, so you have to make use of a recursive function to check if a string is odd or even length palindrome, and another program is that you have to write a recursive program to print nth term of a Fibonacci series, and then we will print the Fibonacci series as well, but for time being I will tell you how to print the nth term of Fibonacci series. And in this palindrome question I have added one extra thing, that you can check odd or even length palindrome also. Okay, so these are the only two programs that we are going to discuss, and they are very important programs. That's why I have devoted one complete session for these two programs only. Okay, so let me come to this first program, how to check if the string is odd or even length palindrome. Okay, so as I had told in the previous classes, I am telling continuously that you have to focus only on two things. One is your base case, okay, what is your termination condition, and another thing is your recursive case. Okay, so base case and recursive case, that these are the only two things that you have to think of. So what will be the base cases? Let's check what will be the base cases, what will be the termination condition for a string in order to check if a string is odd or even length palindrome. Okay, so let's take one string. I will basically a string can have odd length, even length, isn't it? So these are the only two things, that a string can have odd length and even length. So let's first consider a string of odd length. Okay, so as on your screen you can see see that I have taken a string of odd length and its length is how much? 5. Okay, it comprises of all x. Okay, so for example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a string is your 5 times x. Okay, now you know that it is a palindrome because either you read it from the front or you read it from the end, the outcome will be the same. So it's a palindrome. Now how will you check that if this string is palindrome using a recursive program? So let's see this one. So I have made it in blocks. So all the characters I have written in, you can see that I have written in boxes. Okay, and then I have written their index position. So index position of first x is 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So this string has a length of 5 and its indexes range from 0 to 4. Now I have taken two extremes, two variables a and b. So a is initially pointing to 0 and b is initially pointing to 4. So this is the start position and this is the end position. Now what will happen if you write a recursive program? So what will happen? Initially a will be 0 and your b will be how much? B will be 4, isn't it? Now so what you will check? You will check if STA is equal to STB. Okay, so that's what you will check, that if STA is equal to STB or not. If it is equal, then again you will proceed, you will make a equal to 1 and b equal to 3. Okay, so this will be your approach. If STA is equal to STB, then you will check next, you will check recursively, you will increase the value of a and now it will become a equal to 1 and b will become equal to how much? 3. So you will increment a and you will decrement b, and again you will check if STA is equal to STB or not. If it holds, then you will keep checking. Okay, you will keep checking. Okay, so what will happen next? So let me write it here. Let me write this entire thing here. Okay, right. So okay, so next what will happen? Next the value of a will become 2 and b will also become 2. So both okay, so at this instance where will be a? Okay, so let me first erase this one. So when I said that when a will become a and b equal to 3, what will be the diagram? A will come here and b will come here, isn't it? Now next what will happen? That the value of a will become 2, the value of a will become 2 and b will become 2, and again you will check if STA is equal to STB or not. Okay, so now where will be the position of a and b? A will also be here and b will also be here. So they both will be at the same boxes, isn't it? So now this is your termination condition. isn't it? This is your termination condition. When you have come here, definitely A and B will be, STA and STB will be same, because they both are pointing to the same character of the string, isn't it? So at this point it should stop. So if after incrementing A and after decrementing B, a situation comes when the value of A becomes equal to B, okay, a situation comes when the index positions A and B become equal, then in that case it will be which type of string? It will be an odd length palindrome. Definitely it will be palindrome, okay, and it will, which type of palindrome? It will be odd length palindrome. I hope you got the concept how it is happening, that initially A is at the beginning position and B is at the end position. You are repeatedly incrementing A and you are repeatedly decrementing B, okay, and if at some point of time, okay, you keep incrementing, you keep decrementing, and you keep checking if they both point to the same character or not, okay, and at the end, if the value of A and B become equal, that is, if the A and B start pointing to the same character, then it becomes an odd length palindrome, okay. You can see that this is an odd length palindrome, and in this case, finally, eventually what will happen, that the value of A and B will become equal. Okay, so that's about odd length palindrome. Now let's take an even length palindrome. I am taking a string comprising of 4 x's, and definitely it is an even length palindrome. Now what will happen? Again, you will do the same thing. Again, it is 4 characters, so the index positions will range from 0 to 3. Okay, so here it will be A and it will be B. Now what will happen? You will keep incrementing A and you will keep decrementing B. Again, you will keep checking if STA is equal to STB or not. Okay, so here A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 3. Next time what will happen? That A will be here and B will be here, and you will check if STA is equal to STB or not. Definitely they are equal, they both are equal to X. So again what will happen? That you will increment A and you will decrement B. So finally what will happen? A will come here and B will come here, isn't it? So what will happen? So in this case what is happening? That finally the value of A becomes greater than B. I hope you got the concept, okay? So finally after checking, if it is an even length palindrome, then A will surpass B, okay? The value of A will become greater than B. So in that case it will become what? It will become an even length palindrome, okay? So what will happen? Eventually A will become greater than B. In which case? In case of an even length palindrome, okay? In case of even length palindrome, the value of A will become greater than B if the string is palindrome. Now what if it is a non-palindrome? Okay, what if it is a non-palindrome? For example, let me make this one X as Y. Okay, so what will happen? That here, so initially A will be here, B will be here. Okay, now it will check if STA is equal to STB or not. Definitely they are equal. Now the next time the value of A will be incremented, A will come here and B will be decremented and it will come here. So you can see that if here STA is not equal to STB. So what is STA here? You can see that STA is what? STA is X. But what is your STB? Your STB is nothing but Y, and definitely they are not equal. So what will be the another termination condition? Another termination condition will be that if STA is not equal to STB, okay, so if STA is not equal to STB, then you need not check anything further, okay. Definitely it is not a palindrome, okay. So in that case what should be the message? That it is not a palindrome, and it should terminate at that point, okay. It should just print not a palindrome and then it should terminate. Okay, so I hope you got the concept that what's happening in case of a even length palindrome. We first checked for odd length palindrome. What will the termination condition? The value of A will become equal to B. In case of even length palindrome, what will happen? That the index position A will surpass B, that is A will become greater than B. And what will happen in case of a non-palindrome? That STA will not be equal to STB. So these are the 3 termination condition to check if a string is odd length palindrome, even length palindrome or not a palindrome. Okay, and in all other cases what you have to do? You have to just increment the value of A and you have to decrement the value of B, and you have to again call this whatever recursive function that you are writing. Okay, so that will be your that is your algorithm behind the program, that you are going to write, and that's how you will check if the string is palindrome or not. Okay, so let me write this program, and I will name this as palindrome function itself. Okay, and I am taking two index positions A and B, as I told earlier, as I demonstrated. Now what is the concept? That if A becomes greater than B, then you know that what is the case, that you have to print it is an even length palindrome. Okay, even length palindrome. Okay, now what is the another situation? Another thing is that if A becomes equal to B, then definitely it is a palindrome, and it will be which type of palindrome? It will be odd length palindrome. Okay, you know already, I have already demonstrated this concept. Okay, now what is the last case? Another termination condition is, so there will be three termination condition: A greater than B, A equal to B, and then if okay, so you have to pass the string as well. Okay, you have to pass the string as well, otherwise you will not be able to write this termination condition. So if STA not equal to STB, then what you have to print? So ST is your string, and you are checking that if A and B are matching or not. So you are continuously incrementing A and you are continuously decrementing B, and you are checking if STA is equal to B or not. Okay, so if they are not equal, then definitely it is not a palindrome. Okay, so these are the only three termination condition. In all other cases, what you have to do? You have to just increment the value of A. So A will become how much? A plus equal to 1, and you have to decrement the value of B, so it will be B minus equal to 1, and then what you have to do? You have to again call this palindrome function. Okay, and you have to pass the string ST, and you have to pass A and B. So that's how it will happen. You will again call this function, you will increment the value of A, you will decrement the value of B, and you will again call this palindrome function. Again, there is no need to return, you are just checking if the string is palindrome or not. So there is nothing you are returning, so I am not writing any return statement out here. I had already explained the concept in the last class. So here you will just write palindrome ST A comma B, you will pass the same string, but this time the index positions are different. Now A is incremented and B is decremented, and again you will check that if A is greater than B, equal to B, or if STA is no more equal to STB. Okay, if it happens, then definitely at any point, if this condition is satisfied, then that means that it is not a palindrome. Okay, so that's it, and you just pass any string, you just call this function with any string, or you can accept a string from user also, not a problem. For time being, I am not accepting a string from the user. I am just writing A. Okay, so let's take a string an even length palindrome. Okay, so it's an even length palindrome, and let me check what is the output. So you can say, okay, sorry, I didn't pass the positional argument. Okay, so let me accept the string from the user itself. Let's accept the string from the user. You just write input, okay, and then enter a string. So user will pass a string, user will input a string, and what will be the starting position? It will be definitely 0, and what will be the end position? What will be the value of B? It will be ln of ST minus 1. That you already know, that initially A will be what? 0, and initially B will be what? Ln of ST minus 1. And now if you call this function, it will give you correct output. You can see that if I enter B, so you can see that it is giving even length palindrome. Okay, so it is perfectly fine. Let's run it for an odd length palindrome also. So let's enter A, and you can see that it is odd length palindrome. Let me enter a non-palindrome. Okay, so B A suppose, so it is not a palindrome, and it is not a palindrome. You can see that the expected output and the output that you are getting are same. So that's it. And another thing you can do, you can make it case insensitive. Okay, for example, some may enter in the all capitals, or some may be combination of capital and small. So for being on safe side, you just convert all of them into lowercase. So instead of directly taking the string, you just convert it into lowercase. Okay, and then it will give you the, again, the, suppose for example what I am trying to say, that suppose any user enters like this. So it is again a palindrome, it is an even length palindrome. But if you are not first converting into lowercase, then it will give you an error, because the capital A and small a will be different. So better will be that you convert all of them into lowercase, and then you check using this program. Okay, so now it will give you correct output. Okay, sorry, not lowercase, it's lower, it's actually lower function, so a small mistake. Okay, so it is even length palindrome. I hope you got the concept. If you are not converting into lower, then it will give you not a palindrome, okay, which is actually not true. You are only entering all the characters in different cases, but again it is a palindrome and it is an even length palindrome. So just to ensure that you are first, what you are doing, that you are converting it into all lower characters. Okay, so this is the program to check even length palindrome, odd length palindrome, and not a palindrome. And I hope you got the concept that if in the case of even length palindrome, you will in all cases you will keep incrementing A, you will keep decrementing B, and you will keep checking if it is STA and STB are same or not. Okay, and at any point, if the value of A becomes greater than B, that means it is an even length palindrome, definitely, as you saw. And if the value of A becomes equal to B, then that you know that it will be an odd length palindrome. And if it at any point the STA and STB are not same, then it becomes a non-palindrome. Okay, and in all other cases, what you have to do, you have to just increment the value of B, decrement the value of B, and then you have to again call the palindrome function. So that's it. That is about the checking palindrome using recursive function. Okay. Now let's see the second program. The second program is to print nth term of a Fibonacci series. I had explained you the meaning of Fibonacci series in the last class. So what is a Fibonacci series? The first number is 0 in the series. The first number in the series 0, followed by 1, followed by again 1. It will be sum of the previous two terms. Okay, so the what will be the third term? The third term will be 1. What will be the fourth term? Fourth term will be 2. Again the sum of previous two terms, that is 1 and 1. Okay, so again what will be the next term? So the next term will be 3. Now by now you must have guessed what will be the next term. The next term will be 5. You must have studied in your mathematics also. So the next term will be 5. So again by now you must have guessed that it is a recursive thing, isn't it? It is a recursive thing. At any point of time, what is the nth term? Nth term is nothing but sum of n minus 1th and n minus 2th terms. Okay, so let me save this. Let me try to write this program. Okay, let me make it as Fibonacci. So I had told you to write a recursive program to print the nth term only, and later on we can print the complete series also, not an issue. So let's first try to write the program for printing the nth term. For example, if I ask you to write the fourth term, then what will be the fourth term? It will be 2. If I ask you to write the fifth term, what it should be? It should be 3. Okay, so let me try to define a Fibo function. Definitely it is a recursive function, and I ask you to write nth term. I ask you to print nth term. So what will be the nth term? If the value of n is equal to, you already know the termination conditions now. So if the value of n is equal to 1, that is, if I ask you to print the first term of this Fibonacci series, what it should return? It should return 0. Okay, it should return 0. If n is equal to 2, that is, if I ask you to print second term, okay, then what it should print? It should print 1. In all other cases, what should happen? It should call which functions? It should return actually. It should return. Okay. Here it is dependent upon the next function calls. Okay, that is why you are returning. You are expecting value from the next function call. Okay, and what value you are expecting? You are expecting sum of n minus 1 and sum of n minus 2th terms. Okay, so these are the two things. The summation of previous two terms you are expecting. Okay, so that's why you have to write a return statement. Okay, I hope you got the concept. So if you are asking, for example, for third term, then what will be the output? It will be FIBO of 2 and FIBO of 1. That is the sum of 1 and 0. So it should return sum of 1 and 0. So this is your recursive case. Okay, this is your recursive case, and these two are your base cases. Okay, so this is your first base case. Okay, and this is your second base case. Okay, so that's it. Now just suppose I want to print the which term? Suppose I want to print the fourth term. Okay, so what I should call? I should call FIBO of 4. Definitely it should print what? It should print 2. So let me call this function and see what output gives. You can see that it is giving 2, which is correct. Okay, you can see that the fourth term is 2. Let me call fifth term or sixth term. The sixth term should be 5. Okay, so you can see that it is giving 5. Okay, so that's it about the Fibonacci, but it is only printing one of the terms. Okay, suppose I want to print all the terms from first to sixth. Okay, that is I want to print this entire series 0 1 1 2 3 5. So what should I do? I can do it in iterative manner. Okay, so what I will do for I in range, okay, and then I will do suppose 1 to 6. Okay, suppose I want to print all the numbers from 1 to 5th, all the numbers in the series 1 to 5. So and then I will call what? I will call print FIBO of I. Okay, I will print FIBO of I, and then I will make end equal to space. Okay, end equal to space. Why? Because I want to print all of them in the same line. Okay, I want to print, so how it will execute? It will first print FIBO of 1, that is it will print 0, then it will print FIBO of 2, that is equal to 1, then it will print FIBO of 3, that is 1, FIBO of 4 2, FIBO of 5. Okay, so it will print up, let me make it up to 7. Okay, so it should print this entire series 0 1 1 2 3 5. Okay, so let me run this program and then I will again explain it to you. You can see that you are getting the same series 0 1 1 2 3 5. So how it is happening? You don't get confused that I am not using a recursive function. I am definitely using a recursive function, but this recursive function is giving what? This is only giving this particular term. Okay, this is only giving either 5, this 3. Again, if you do, then what will happen? It will give you 8, isn't it? The sum of the previous two terms. So for computation of this particular term, I am using a recursive function, but for printing entire series, what I am using? I am using an iterative function. I am using iteration, that is I am using for loop. Okay, so that's it. Don't get confused that I am not using a recursive function. Okay, I am for just printing the entire series, I am using this for loop. Otherwise, for entire computation, I am using this recursive function FIBO. Okay, so let me run this again, and suppose I change it to suppose 8. So it will print from 1 to 7, that is it will print this series up to 8. So this is how it will keep computing, this is how it will keep printing. So this is the program to print Fibonacci series. Program to print Fibonacci series. I hope you got this concept. This is very important program. These two programs that we have seen today, the program to check odd or even length palindrome, and then the program to check the program to print the Fibonacci series. If you want to print the entire series, you will have to use this loop. But if you do not want to print the entire series, if you simply want to print the nth term, then in that case you just call print FIBO of that particular. For example, you just write print FIBO of, and this is suppose 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. So 8 is your 7th term. So you just write FIBO of 7 and the output will be 8. Okay, so again you can see that it is giving 8. So this is printing only a particular term, and if you are using the for loop, then it will give you the entire series. Okay, it will give you the entire series from the first term to the last term, whatever the last limit you have entered. Okay, so that's it for today. Let's see what is there in the next class. Thank you.